Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.
Good evening, Mill fans. Hope you're doing really well. Good to see you. It's Tuesday. It's 8 p.m. So we're here again as requested. Guys, we've got the old band back together again. It feels like the Blues Brothers. This does. So without further ado, I'm going to go straight into announce our panelists. So to my left-hand side on the screen, he's not just all about Millwall. Rumor has it he can actually cook a decent Sunday meal taught by his nunna. But just don't ask him to give you any favours because he'd be chasing you for life, mate. But the one and only Angelo Miliotto. How you doing, mate?
All good, mate. All good. I've actually had a bowl of pasta tonight, mate. So yeah, that's why I'm so fat, Joe.
there you go, mate. There you go. Yeah. And back from his hollybops, I say he's got John Travolta now. It looks a bit like Tom Jones, to be honest with you. But he's back from his holidays, nice and chilled. But I swear, if he hears the beats of the Bee Gees, he's up there on the dance floor, throwing some shapes. The one and only Steve, Disco Steve. How you doing, Steve?
I'm very well, thanks, Joe. I'm getting a bit worried. You know me too well already. That's a real worry. But,
I can imagine you sitting there, you know, in the entertainment and the evening, your holiday resort, sitting there with your pina colada. Suddenly, you know, the tones of Bee Gees comes on. You're like, oh, and you're up there, and you're on the dance floor.
Exactly. And in your lycra, of course.
In your lycra, of course, exactly. But now, how are you all doing, guys? You're all good?
Really good,
mate. All good.
Yeah, good. I had a weird night last night. I was playing I play for my football team, a Vets football team. We train on Monday night. And about 5 minutes in, I did my foot. I sort of twisted my ankle. Thought I broke it. Anyway, I had to go to A&E to get X-ray stuff. Luckily, it's not broken. It's just like a grade 2 tear or something on the ligament, which is not very, very nice. So that's going to put me out for a while. I guess the good news is I can't play for my Vets team on a Saturday, which means I could go to more away games now with Millwall. So every cloud and all that, you know. But let's go to the comments. I can see the guys are in there now, so we'll go through the comments first, and we'll go through the points. There's lots to talk about today, as always. But first of all, let's start from the top. Craig, how you doing, mate? John Travolta's lost some weight, and he looks a bit older. No, I'm joking, Steve, mate. Carl, how you doing, mate? Hope you're all well. Craig says, give us your best night fever dance. Come on, Disco Steve.
Woo!
There you go.
If we had more time, I would, but we're on a tight timeline tonight.
Well, that's it. We've got to try and keep it under an hour again, haven't we? I've said if you throws any more shakes, you'll probably pull a trapped nerve or something, wouldn't you?
I must say, Joe, sorry, I must say, I was so disappointed last week when I tuned in over in Spain thinking we were going to get the music intros.
I know.
And you've been kiboshed.
I know. Can't do any music intros anymore, sadly. We could probably hum it or whistle it, but we can't play it. Dave Martin, even lads, got to watch this back. Good to see you, mate. Jeff, how are you, mate? Good evening. Hope you're well. The lovely Rosalind's with us as well. Lads, evening. How are you doing, Rosalind? Mark, good evening, mate. Jeff Cook, how are you? Good to see you. Right, Bailey, evening. Hope you're really well. So, guys, let's crack on with the show. So, I don't know whether you guys, Andrew, I don't think you did go to the QPR game, did you? No. I know you've been before. Steve, obviously, you were sunbathing with your factor 5 on from the looks of it. So you weren't there, but I'm sure you watched it on the stream. Yeah, your cooking oil. But Angelo, go to you first, and then Steve afterwards. First of all, what would you make of our performance, and how do you think we play against QPR on Saturday?
Yeah, it's the same as all the other games, isn't it, mate? We played really, really well, and yet again we don't get all the points that we deserve, which was disappointing. But the great thing is that all the Millwall fans were delighted with the performance, you know, and I heard them singing Harris's name at the end. You know, it's just got to be that little bit more clinical, mate. But the football's great. The football, you know, I think that's what shocked everybody, hasn't it? Like when Neil Harris come back, they're going, oh, I don't want to watch hoofball and all this. But we've really started to play good football, entertaining, and I look forward to watching Millwall again. You know, with Gary Rowett, I used to have to drag myself to the games. You know, but now I'm looking forward to it. So great performance, and just a shame that we didn't put one of them extra chances away, mate, to win it. And I was disappointed with the goal we gave away as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots to cover. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, I appreciate you saying, Andrew. Completely agree with you, mate. I mean, I think I've said it many times before. I did struggle a bit under Rowett. Although we were winning games, it was effective football. Jesus Christ, you know, I felt I was falling asleep most times. I didn't drink as much coffee or Red Bull in my life watching Millwall those days, just to stay awake. Steve, what did you make? Did you get a chance to look at it on the stream, or did you watch it while you're sunning out?
Believe it or not, I was actually queued up in baggage control, waiting to check in.
Oh, you're joking! Really?
With it on my phone, watching.
Oh, did you? Okay, so you did watch it still then?
It's not ideal, but look, you get a view, and I must admit, very quickly, you can tell with us, can't you, whether we're on it or not early. And first half, you thought, first 10, 15, 20 minutes, you thought, we're in this, we're on it. And it was not one-way traffic, but it was pretty obvious we were the dominant team. I thought QPR were bloody dreadful, to be honest. They're passing out the back crap, and how slow they were was terrible. But we looked sharp on it, and it looked like we weren't going to get the breakthrough that we should until, well, I know we're going to come on to it later, but the goal was fantastic, et cetera. I've managed to watch 60 minutes of it since on Millwall TV. And I'll have to say, I know you haven't then got the nervousness of watching it live. It was even better watching it back. I tell you what, some of our passing, talk about quality, was really, really good. I'm not going to get carried away. We're not Man City, you know, I'm not saying that. But as Angelo mentioned and yourself, compared to bloody Rowett ball, Jesus, this is night and day. And we do need to pick up more points. But to go to QPR and not lose, that's a decent result in, you know, our record in the past, certainly.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more, guys. And what you said there is absolutely spot on. There was a bit of a shock, weren't there? Before an hour before the game kickoff, you know, the team sheet came out, and there was two things straight away that I looked at. I thought, wow. The first thing was, of course, the BFS, the big fucking Serb. Ivanovic was on the subs bench, so that was a bit of a turnaround. I mean, 1 minute, he's out for, what is it, 6 to 8 weeks, they said, and next minute he's there on the bench, available to play. We presume he was past fit to play. But also a certain Jake Cooper, who surprised us all, really. I mean, how often is it that a player gets taken off a game a week before through injury, and then suddenly, is there available to start and do 90 minutes the week after, which is astonishing. So I'll go to you first, Steve. What do you make of Jake Cooper's performance and the way he started, and just really the person himself to have that kind of mentality, that strong will to sort of get back playing and be so effective for us at the back as he has been?
Look, he's phenomenal, isn't he? Without a doubt, he had that record run for us of games. Didn't he dislocate his shoulder once, and he was back within a few weeks? You know, he is a genuine, proper pro. And I've probably been guilty of it as well at times. Have a bit of a dig at him. It's his slow turning, isn't it? He's like a bleeding tanker in the ocean, turning at times.
me and Andrew, I don't know what the hell you're talking about there, Steve. Do you, Andrew? But you're actually spot on.
But he is an absolute machine. And look, a proper pro, isn't he? That he went into Harris and said, I'm ready. I want to play. That's what Harris said, you know, and you believe that. And listen, we can talk about the goal, and I think we'll have a chat about that. But overall, again, he performed really well, didn't shirk anything up front or in defence. And let's be honest, it was a real boost for the team. I think for us as fans and the team, that we've got a bit of solidity there alongside the Messiah that is Tanganga, obviously. But no, hats off to him, a real, true, proper pro, and a great player for us.
Lovely words there from you, Steve. Lovely words. Angelo, what's your thoughts on Jake Cooper? And just before we move to the next point, what's your thoughts on him sort of starting? Was that a bit of a shock for you and a bit of a surprise?
Do you know what I think it is, Joe? I think Jake Cooper is addicted to playing for Millwall, mate.
Yeah,
he's addicted, isn't it? He won't miss a game.
It.
Yeah, he is, mate. He just loves it. You know, he's he's a legend already in my eyes. You know, what's he? Is it 350 games or 300 games? Can't remember.
I think it might be 350, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I'm sure the chat would tell us otherwise, but yeah.
You know, he even played on for 8 minutes with that injury against Luton, didn't he? Just carried on for 8 minutes, and he must have got dragged off, you know. But yeah, he's addicted to playing for Millwall, mate. I love it.
Yeah,
and I'd always rather have him in the team. I know
absolutely.
But yeah, he's a machine, mate.
I know he doesn't score as many goals as he used to, like from set pieces and corners, which again we're going to touch on later in the show. But I think just having him there, even just for that defensive prowess, you know, the fact he's so strong, you know, in winning headers and very, very good at man marking and stuff. You know, he's a great player. I certainly prefer him in that back four rather than not in the back four. So good to see him back, Jake. We're going to go to the chat, guys, very quickly. So Jesper, how are you, mate? Evening, chaps. Good to see Steve's back. What is the happy hour prices nowadays in Marbella? Jasper,
not bad, not as bad as you think. Not too bad.
Is it still cheaper than I think anywhere's cheaper than England or London?
Euros a pint. You can take that. To be fair.
Good.
Mind you, I'm not in bloody Oceana Beach or whatever. Opium, is it Club Opium or?
I can imagine you sort of rock up to one of those clubs like the In-Betweeners, you know, playing to Americana. Disco Steve walks in, you know, with his mojito one hand and sunglasses in the other.
I said you knew too much about me already.
I know. It's all coming out now. Jesper, mate. Obviously, we hope all well. Hope you miss as well. If you don't know, Mrs. Dangard is expecting their first child. So only a few weeks away. So best of luck there, Jesper, mate. You've got many sleepless nights ahead of you, mate. So congratulations. Talking about babies, another fellow Chat with Chaps panelist, Paul Donovan. I don't know whether you're listening, Paul, whether you get to watch this back, but a massive congratulations to you and your missus and your family. They expected their another child, baby daughter. I think it's Everly. I think her name was. So all the best to you, mate. I'm pretty certain he's probably fast asleep at the moment, doing all the feeds and nappy changes during the night as a modern man should do. So congratulations to you, Paul, on behalf of Chat with Chaps, mate, and of course Angelo and Steve. Let's go back to the chat again, guys. So Carl Bracey said, where would we be without Duncan Watmore? Great assists from Langstaff. We will talk about that in a second. Connor says, evening lads, just finished work and always great to hear from you all. Come your Lions. Bless you, Connor. Good to have you with us, mate. Born free, die free. All the chopper haters saying it's a backward step. Enjoy the humble pie. We are getting better. Harris is getting better. There's no one else out there that loves our club like us. Give him a 5-year contract. Couldn't agree with you more, mate. And and I think just to add to that, I think Harris, as you say, he is Millwall. And I think he gets us, and there's no one else better than him, I feel, to do the job. Matt Richards, how are you doing, Matt? Where all the pies are like, Joe? Yeah, well, as you know, mate, I had my chicken balti pie. I sat with Matt during the game at QPR. Those seats are a bit tight, aren't they? I don't know who else was there at the QPR game, but it's one of the reasons why Angela ain't been for the last 10 years because those seats up there, I tell you what, they do get, there's not much room for your legs.
No.
At 1 minute, I thought I was in birth control sort of position with my knees up to my ears, And
then they make you walk to the furthest tube station in West London, don't they? After the game?
Exactly. So, but no, it's all good, mate. And then Cole, Tanganga and Cooper were amazing together. Tanganga and SA are world class. Couldn't agree with you more. Jeff, how you doing, Jeff? Again, when Harris was reappointed, I thought we'd gone back years and never really rated his style. He's made me eat my words and has evolved as a coach. Best football we've played in years. Jeff, I couldn't agree with you more, mate.
Joe, can I say something on that, mate?
Of course, mate. Yeah.
Right, I was thinking, and this is not to take any credit away from Neil Harris at all, because I love the guy, I was thinking, right, obviously Barrett was there when Joe Edwards was there, when we were trying to play the good, sexy football. I really wonder whether Adam Barrett's picked up a few bits from Joe Edwards on the style of play and has helped Neil to sort of like implement that. Because we all said it. We'd love to have Neil Harris as a number one and Joe Edwards as his number two. That'd be the dream team, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I do wonder whether Adam Barrett has had something to do with this better quality football that we're playing. Not taking anything away from Harris.
I think so. I think there's probably a sprinkle of everything there. You've got a sprinkle of the Joe Edwards, where the players probably just learnt a bit from his coaching style and probably inherited that and took that with them and carried that style on. Again, you've got Adam Barrett, who probably picked up some tips from Joe Edwards as well. And I think the players had a big say as well. I think everyone knew that we're playing defensive football towards the last season. We're trying to get survival, but there were a few players, without naming names, who are technically much stronger, wanted to play a different brand of football. I think Harris always said that, look, let's get safety first and we'll go again next season with a different type of football. And I think he's true to his word. He's playing the ball on the deck.
Yeah,
it's not going up in the air as much as it does. I mean, I'm not saying we play it completely on the deck, because there are times the ball does go up high and long, but it's a real mixed bag now, isn't it? It's not quite one-way traffic like it was before. So, yeah, great point there, Angelo. I just want to fly through these comments very quick before they start building up. But yeah, great point there from Jeff. Cheers to that, Jeff. Where are we at the moment? Next comment is from Mark Murphy. Mark says Cooper probably came here from Reading and was playing and wanted that from the off. That probably makes a difference. Carl says, I still think Essa should play in number 10. Carl, I agree with you, mate. But at the moment, he's doing a job out there and he's playing well for us. Matt says, I'm getting a test tomorrow. I think he might think he's pregnant as well, from the sounds of it. Danny says, love Honeyman. Just he's not a goal scorer. Again, we're going to touch on Honeyman as well later in the show. Jesper, honest question, is this the most open championship we have seen for a long time? Seems like there are many teams who could nick a playoff spot this season. Jesper, you know what? It's so true. When you look at how the league is at the moment, I know we're only 6 games in, wherever it is, but you've got West Brom up there, Sunderland up there, 2 teams that were sort of flanking around the middle, weren't there, last season? I mean, it's still early days, but you're absolutely spot on. At the moment, it's still very, very wide open. Matt agrees with you, Angelo. It's a good point, Angelo. Barrett gets grief when we're shit. I guess to add to that, he probably doesn't get the credit when we do well. Danny says Barrett is a joke. Drop him. What does he do? There you go. This is why we do the show for, to have a debate and have 2 sides of the coin. Absolutely, Danny. Love that comment, mate. Bailey says also we now just have better players. Tanganga, Casper, Esse, all a step up on the ball. Completely agree with you there, Bailey. Connor says you definitely might have a point about Barrett, Angelo. Matt Richards says the reality is we don't know what influence or how much influence the coaches have. It's all guesswork. Connor says we are playing less hoofball and more direct football on the floor. Danny says we need right-footed wingers and a left-footed winger. I quite like the inverted wingers at the moment. I like the fact that Esse cuts in and Watmore cuts in. If we get the fullbacks up the pitch as well and get them crossing the ball, maybe that gives us another dimension. But at the moment, I think it's working, Danny.
Joe, there's a rumour Aziz got injured today in the under-21s.
I heard about that. Yeah. I mean,
don't know how serious it is, but
it's not great to have any of our players. But he's not quite made it as a first-team player at the moment. But it's good to see him come off the bench and.
I thought he done all right against QPR. I think he done all right.
I thought so. He was very unlucky at the end of his shot, weren't he, as well? Connor says,
his arse, didn't he?
Sorry, mate.
The keeper saved it with his arse, that shot.
Was it a keeper save? Was it defender's block? I can't remember what it was now.
His arse.
It might have been, actually. Yeah, I know he's very unlucky. It was good save then. Connor says, love him, but if Honeyman shot Tupac, he'll still be alive. Love that, Connor. Love that. Matt says, Esse has a lot of freedom. He's not stuck on the right. Was on the left, he was in the middle, He was all over and had pretty much a free roll. It's so true. There's so many times you found him literally in the centre of the pitch at one time when he received the ball, he's turning and he's running and he's setting play up. He's a talented player. Again, we're going to talk about Esse towards the end of the show. So good point. So back to you guys. Angelo, start with you first. 34 minutes in, we're all over them, I feel, with a stronger team. And I was really, really pleased and proud of the way we're playing. And then Watmore scores a goal. His 5th goal in 6 games. And just to make a point here, I think he scored 3 goals last season and 3 goals before that. That's 3 goals in 34 games last season. He's now scored 5 goals in 6 games. I mean, first of all, talk us through the goal And then after that, I want you to sort of share your thoughts on Watmore start this season. It's been pretty incredible, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think absolutely brilliant team goal, mate. Yeah, so Leonard, brilliant pass into Langstaff. Langstaff, a nice little tight turn, and then he puts it across. And Honeyman does really well by leaving the ball, because if he'd have shot, he'd have missed.
That's a good point. I think he pretty fucking knew it. I don't think that was a dummy. I think he bottled it. I'm only joking. In case
we're only joking.
Yeah.
So obviously, great little dummy, and then brilliant composure. I said to my son when we was watching it, I don't know whether I would have rather the handball on the line, get the geezer sent off, and then take the penalty. But listen,
he did go for it, didn't he? He did sort of like stretch across. You see him kind of like stick his hand.
I think he did try and stop it with his hand, but obviously the ball goes over the line. But so coming back to Watmore, I think we spoke about this last week, mate. I think Neil Harris is giving him so much confidence. He loves Neil Harris. He's mentioned it a couple of times in the press interviews. And number one, he's staying fit, isn't he, mate? Because he's had this horrible thing about being unfit all the time. And obviously the De Bruyne haircut is just the icing on the cake, you know? So fantastic, mate. Brilliant. And deservedly player of the month last month for Millwall, in my opinion, mate.
Absolutely. And Steve, how you like to add to that? Obviously, you saw the goal. What do you make of his performance and also the start he's had? I mean, I think he's joint top goal scorer at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one behind Madger. Oh,
is he one behind now?
Right.
Listen, I mentioned before, didn't I, about the passing, and that was a real great example. Leonard's ball into Langstaff was just superb. He'd been crying out for passes like that for a couple of seasons now, if not longer. Langstaff's turn, and what a great ball. The way that he cut it across dangerously into the box was brilliant. And as you say, Hanneman bottling the shot. Sorry, I mean, the ball. And look, good finish, good composed finish. He could have scuffed that. He could have tried to hit it first time, but got it under control, slotted it in. It was difficult to see on my phone in the queue. And has it gone in or not? I wasn't sure. And I could see Hanneman's arm up, obviously appealing for the handball, but it had hit the back of the net and it was in. Lovely for him to do the Wallace run back to the fans as well.
Yeah, nice.
That does bring back memories. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He's been brilliant. He's been brilliant. The only thing I'd say, he's a bit deceiving because he can look a bit knackered, can't he? I think sometimes he is knackered. Yeah. Sometimes he can look really knackered. And I do think we've got to get a bit of a balance. Luton game, he was definitely knackered, and I thought Bomber left him on a bit too long. Should have maybe replaced him. Even Saturday, maybe taken him off a bit earlier. But look, can't knock that. He obviously thinks he's a danger and has now got goals in him as well. So, brilliant. Really pleased for him. Seems a nice guy as well.
Yeah, no, I'm really sort of chuffed, and I think he had an excellent game. Also, Steve, while I've got you, on 40 minutes, 6 minutes later, we conceded a very well worked goal. Really, it's on the counter attack. We were pushing forward, and you could argue, what we're doing, sort of so high up the pitch. You're 1-0 ahead. You should protect your lead, but surely this is what the Millwall fans are crying out for. We want attacking football. We want to play on the front foot. We don't want to be sitting back and playing boring football. So against run of play, of course, they then counter attack us. I mean, what do you make of the goal? And of course, who do you think was at fault for it? Was it just a great goal? Was there a fault? Do you blame Cooper? Do you blame Jensen? What's your thoughts on that, Steve?
Look, first and foremost, I'm not going to knock us for trying to. We were going for a second and looked like we were going to get one. The cross got blocked and we got caught on the transition. Look, first and foremost, we always look to try and blame someone, and could we have done better? I have to say, Frey, or they were giving him a bit of Harry Potter stick, weren't they, at the game, I believe? If you watch him, he did, for a big guy, he did really well. He wanted that, and he made a great run. Dembele put a great ball through. I think Cooper should have gone with the run rather than go to Dembele, but that's easy said in hindsight. And the one thing, I don't want to blame anybody, genuinely. Jensen, I think there's arguments he could have done slightly better. Watch it. It's a great finish from Frey. He really hits it, sweetly. But I think I said on the chat earlier this week, I think back to Bart, and he always made at least one great save in a game. I'll stand by that. He'd always. Now that's the difference between clean sheets and not. And I'm not blaming Jensen at all, But I just wonder, is that the difference of making a great save when you really need it and can be match winning? I'm going to wrap it up by saying I think it was a really good goal. And if we'd scored that, you'd be absolutely delighted. You know, for a big guy, I thought he finished it brilliantly.
Yeah. No, great point there, Steve. Angelo, over to yourself. What was your thoughts on the goal we conceded?
Yeah, again, I don't mind the goal in respect that we were attacking, trying to get more goals. You know, we got caught 3-on-3. But again, 3-on-3 with Japhet Tanganga at the back, I'll probably take that most games. I think that we can handle that situation on most times. My thing about the goal is I believe when Tanganga goes to engage with Frey, I just think if Jensen had stayed nearer his line, I think he saves it. But what happens, Jensen's come out and they basically, all three of them are right in the same area when he's done that great finish, to be fair, I just think, had Jensen stayed back, I think he saves it. And can I just say, that is the most pathetic goal celebration I've ever seen in my life.
I was a bit confused what was going on there, to be honest with you, because he ran past Harris, even sort of even Harris sort of stepped back, looked at him, and like, what are you doing? Like, you know,
right next to him. What is this? World Cup final. World Cup final,
exactly.
96 minutes or something.
I think he was waving
someone in the crowd.
Don't score many, does he?
Like, no, probably not. Maybe he's getting a lot of stick from the fans.
But do you know what though? He is a handful, the geezer. Though. He is. He's
I think Chaps alluded to that on the chat with Chaps, guys. If you haven't seen or listened to the review of the game, it's on the chat with Chaps is on every week. I'm sure a lot of you watch it anyway. But he talks about that as well. He mentioned that he was like their best player. He was a difference in their team. I don't think if Michael Frey was playing, they would have given us such a tough game. But he was a handful. You know, his hold up play was good. Dare I say it? We can really do that sort of player in our team, really, couldn't we? You know. And that was interesting. They sold Scott. What's his name? Scott Armstrong or Sinclair Armstrong? Sinclair Armstrong. That's it. And they replaced him with this fella, who I think is from Finland. I'm not quite sure, but they got him quite cheap anyway. So good bit of business there from QPR. Fair play to him. I wonder how long he's going to be there for. And back to yourself, Angelo. We touched on Langstaff. I know Steve mentioned how great he worked that chance to score that goal. And he got an assist for us. So he contributed to a goal, which is nice to see. We haven't seen him score yet. But what do you make of his performance? He was actually voted man of the match by Millwall fans on the Millwall website. You saw that earlier today. What do you make of his performance? And are you seeing signs of improvement? Are you seeing him sort of adapting to the Millwall way of playing now?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, mate. His best performance so far. Do you know what, right? I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. I didn't want to see him playing up front on his own doing the Bradshaw role. But I've got to say, he done the Bradshaw role a lot better than Bradshaw. Do you know what I mean?
What's the difference? Because I hear what you're saying there. I agree with you, but I want to hear you say it. What do you think is the difference between him and Bradshaw? Because they both play the same role. They're not particularly that strong in the air, are they? And they're very similar, both poachers. But what does he do differently that puts him ahead of Bradshaw for you?
I just think he's a little bit more. I think he's just got better ball control. I think, you know, and obviously he's a little bit younger, so he's probably a bit, you know, he can run a bit more than Bradshaw. I love Bradshaw and I love his work ethic and all that. And sometimes I feel sorry for Bradshaw that he has to play that role. But I'm very, you know, going back to Langstaff, very impressed with his performance. The goal will come soon, and I just hope that he gets some more minutes because. Listen, he could play the big serve next Saturday. I don't know, you know. But, can we play both of them together? I don't know, mate.
There's a possibility. Steve, what's your thoughts on Langstaff? And do you feel that, you know, he plays a big part in our season this season? Because obviously signing, you know, Josh Gober, I know he's injured at the moment, but Ivanovic is coming back now from his injury. Do you feel there's a place there or starting place still for Ivanovic, given his performances recently? And how do you feel he'll fit into our system going forward?
I think, listen, it was great to see him play like that on Saturday. And to me, you look back, it's like when Harris came, when Morrison came, and even Gregory to a certain extent, people weren't sure and some got on their back early. So, he's not good enough. Listen, against Leyton Orient, he was awful. He couldn't trap a bag of cement.
Yeah.
He was really embarrassing.
True.
But he showed, as Angelo has said, his control in that game was fantastic. His bit of his hold up play. I think, listen, I'm like you, love Bradders, you know, works his nuts off, etc., etc. But I think Langstaff's got more movement in him. The channels he runs, and what that does, he's still getting some long balls up to him high, which is crap. We don't want to be doing that. I think he's encouraging us to play it to feet because he's getting into space. And like that ball from Leonard, it gave him an option into feet. Bradders gets a lot more high balls, and we don't want to go down. It don't work.
No.
He's going to be integral. And look, no, I would not start Ivanovic on Saturday. I'd start. He deserves a start again later.
Yeah, I agree.
He's going to score. He's going to score. It might not be this week. Might be another couple of games. But once he scores, the floodgates will open and he'll be ready.
I really hope so, and I agree with you. And I think that for me the difference between him and Bradshaw is that I think he's better on the ball than Bradshaw. As you say, Angelo and Steve, he's got a better touch. He's better hold up play. I think he can run with the ball a bit better as well. He can work the channels better. He seems like obviously he's a bit younger as well. He's got a bit more to his game. We just love to see him score. I think even the players would love to see him score. I think he's starting to win us fans over. You can also see he's winning the players over, his teammates, and they're certainly trusting him a lot more now.
Joe, as well. No names, no pack drill, but he looked other than other players who maybe not here now. He really wants it. You can see he's really up for it. He really looks like he's settling in and wants to be part of it. That's huge. And I really think he's going to be a big player for us this year.
Excellent. Before we move to the next point, let's go through the chat, guys. I want to make sure we cover everybody on here. So Carl Braces says, I thought West Brom would struggle this season. They sold players, but they are top of the league. I mean, it's incredible what they're doing there. Fantastic work. And they're working on a bit of a budget at the moment. They had to sell players off, haven't they? They've got some financial difficulties in the summer, but they're doing really well. Born Free, Die Free says, I think Langstaff is going to be huge for us after Saturday's performance. Once he hits the back of the net, I reckon he'll hit 20 this season. Mate, I hope you're absolutely right. I can see him banging a few goals for us. Once that first one goes in, I think he'll be full of confidence. Hughesy says, Joe Bryan playing better this year. Won many of the press turnovers on Saturday by reading the game so well. He demonstrated a darker side, underrated in my honest opinion. Hughesy, I completely agree with you. And I think Chaps mentioned it on his preview or review of the game that I think he had the most touches, didn't he, in that game as well, and the most interceptions as well. So he's definitely put himself about. Jeff says, unfortunately, having a feeling SA could be gone in a January window. If we get the offer from the board or after, I hope I'm wrong. Jeff, we're going to talk about this later in the show, but excellent point you mentioned there, Jeff, and we're going to touch on that at the end. Bailey, what more scoring every week? Teams basically just have to foul SA to stop him. Langstaff's better. The big Serb looked lively. Suddenly we look dangerous in every game going forward. Completely agree with you, Bailey, mate. It's a very good point you made there. Wallline 94, hope you're well, mate. Matt, SA, and Watmore can come inside because Honeyman is constantly covering his teammates, whether it's them or Denort or Saville, and leading the press up front. Excellent point there again. And again, we're going to be touching that again a little bit later. So fantastic point there. Bailey says, I think it was just a good goal. They had lots of bodies forward, so Cooper couldn't commit high. Tanganga would have covered, but their winger dragged him away. Good finish and just a go off it. I think sometimes, Bailey, you're right. You just got to hold your hands up. So you know what? Well worked goal, fair play, you know. Carl says, last season, he could only play half a game, but this season, he's playing a full game. I think he is worth at least 20, 30 million. I think he's referring to Watmore. Oh, maybe Honeyman, yeah. I'm pretty sure he means Watmore, that one. But, you know what, Carl, if you could keep this going for another 40 games, then I'll be absolutely in agreement with you there, mate. Rosalind says, Jensen makes me nervous, even though his confidence has grown. That's a really good point. I mean, I think the difficult thing for Jensen is he's constantly going to be compared to players like Bart and, bless him, Matty Partridge as well. So it's going to be tough for the guy. I mean, it's a big step up for him. Coming from League One, he's playing against better strikers, a bit more clinical, that know how to find the corners of the net. So for me, it's a learning curve. Yeah, he'll probably learn from that goal on Saturday. And he'll probably learn. Yes, mate.
I don't know if you picked up on this because you was at the game at the other end, right? He come for a corner and he flapped at it and missed it. Yeah,
he did. Yeah,
the players all went absolutely potty at him, mate. Like nearly all the players were screaming at him.
Yeah.
Because he done that horrible thing where he blames everybody else, which chaps hate. He did it the old like blaming everyone else, and like,
I know.
Tore into him.
I think it's a case. I think I can only imagine if I was Jens at the moment, you're not just trying to find your feet playing in the Championship and trying to find your feet playing in this team, but you're also trying to find your place in the changing room, aren't you? Yeah. And you get to know your teammates. You're trying to get trust from them. You're trying to build your confidence at the same time. So give him time. I mean, it's only been a few games, and I think he'll win him over.
Yeah, he's getting better.
He is.
He's not an archer, or you know what I mean. Or
he's not that bad. Exactly,
he's decent. And listen, I'm going to throw a controversial one in there. And as I said, I've watched the game back 60 minutes of it so far. His kicking isn't as bad as everybody's saying it is. Left and right, his place kicking is bloody phenomenal. He doesn't find a player, so there's work to be done there. But it's not as bad as people are saying. So I think we need to chill out on him a bit.
I'll tell you what. But by me watching him, because obviously I was sitting as in the way ends, and you sort of behind the goal, and for his goal kicks, you're looking either behind him or in front of him. And I must say, he's got this thing, whether he's doing it deliberately or not, but his goal kicks, they seem to sort of like, he's right-footed, so they seem to sort of swerve to the right. It's like he kind of like slices it a little bit.
Draw or a slice, yeah.
Well, it's like a slice almost. And as it goes one way, it kind of goes the other. Whether it does it deliberately, I don't know, but it doesn't go, I feel, to the intended person. There was many times, even like when Ivanovic came on, for example, at the end, and you see trying to aim for him, but the ball's kind of going too much to the right, or not quite hitting him. So again, I'm sure it's something he's got to work on. Back to the comments, guys. So Carl says superb performance, will score goals. I think he's talking about Langstaff there. Bailey says he has better movement than Bradshaw. Not sure he presses as well yet. We'll see in terms of finishing. We haven't quite seen that yet. Big E, hope you're well, mate. Good to see you with us. Evening, yesterday morning, I set the note to notify for the show, and I liked it. I got my popcorn ready Saturday, down at 8 last night. For just say another 25 hours to go. I'll take the L. Come on, you Lions. Glad to see you all. Bless you, Big E, mate. Sorry, mate. It's always going to be Tuesday at 8 p.m, guys. If you're listening at the moment, Tuesday at 8 p.m. I know it's a weird one, but we all got other commitments on other days of the week, unfortunately. And just so happens Tuesday is the only day we could all commit to. So that's why we chose Tuesday. No other reason behind it. I think nothing sort of clever. It's just that's the only time we can do it. So good to have you, Big E, mate. I'm sorry about yesterday. I'm glad you're with us today, mate. Hope you're well.
I hope it was worth the wait.
Yeah, exactly. Rosalind says Harris will stick with Langstaff for a bit now, unless a Serb comes on and scores a hat-trick on Saturday. I completely agree with you. I don't think he's in ready, Rosalind, at the moment. I don't know what you guys agree. I think he needs a bit more game time, a bit more minutes before we even see him starting. Bailey says the kicking from Jensen hurt us Saturday late on. We had them under the cosh second half, and he had 3 or 4 kicks miles away from the big Serb when he brought him on. I thought that too, Bailey. So glad you mentioned that point there. Talking about the big fucking Serb, Mr. John Travolta sitting there with your white teeth and your brown face. What did you make of Ivanovic? Obviously, it's a bit of a shock seeing him firstly announced on the bench, but he comes on at 75 minutes. And I don't know about you, but I was quite impressed with what I saw. I mean, Jesus, he was pressing, and he looked like a bit of a Millwall player straight from the off. What did you make of the impact he made when he came on? And was he the sort of player you hope to see?
Look, for me, it was great to see him come on. There was rumours he might do. I don't know where those rumours came from, but there were some rumours he was going to be on the bench, and he was, and get 15 minutes, and he did. I thought he looked the part. That may sound stupid, but I thought that was important. Looked like he had a good touch. He could put himself about a bit. I don't think, and he'll have to watch that he doesn't get wound up. In fact, I think I saw a bit of a replay. I think somebody give him a shove, like a deliberate, nasty shove, bit of like trying to wind him up. And he didn't even take him on. And I thought, that's good sign, actually.
Yeah, I saw that, Steve.
Sorry, you saw that? Yeah.
I saw that as well, yeah.
I don't know whether it's Cook, probably Cook. He does it.
I think it was that Carter Salter or something.
Oh, was it him? Yeah.
It was him,
One of the three. But he didn't react. Now, whether he didn't realise, but you sort of think he's the type. It
just shows you his temperament, doesn't it? You can be an aggressive player, but it's almost like controlled aggression, isn't it? Which I quite liked. Angela, what's your
getting carried away? He looks like he could be the real deal, but like you say, let's ease him in. Langstaff as well has taken the pressure off a bit now.
Yeah.
Let him play, bring him on 15, 20, 30 minutes at the weekend.
Let's not rush
ease him in, and we're going to be in a really good, strong position.
I hope so. Angelo, what's your thoughts on the big fucking Serb?
Yeah, I'd like
it tickles me every time I say that, but go on.
Yeah, I'd like to echo what Steve said. The next 2 games before the international break, I would just bring him on for half an hour, like just gently put him in, leave Langstaff in there. But coming back to him, he won 2 nice headers straight away when he come on. He had that lovely touch where the ball's come down, he's controlled it, passed it down the wing. He was involved to create that chance where Aziz has that shot where it hits the goalkeeper's arse. And what I really liked about him as well, he's only 19, and like when Honeyman missed that goal chance,
I saw that.
Him, puts his hand on his head.
I love that. Yeah,
I love that as well, mate. You know
what do they call it? An old head on young shoulders. That's what they say. Mate. He really showed maturity there. I love that.
Yeah, I really love that, and I thought, bloody hell, this guy's going to be a right good team player as well.
Oh, I think so.
You know the biggest thing, Joe? He's faster than what I thought he would be.
Yeah,
and he's still not fit. So I thought, it's true. For a big guy, he's got a little bit of pace about him, mate.
Yeah, great point. Love that.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the chat, guys, very quickly. So where are we?
Guys, let's not get carried away, but you don't get in your national team at 19 if you're a mug, you know?
Yeah,
so we don't want to get carried away, but we could have something special.
He got called up again today, didn't he? Which is good. Although it's good and it ain't good, because I'd rather he stay with us.
Yeah, fuck them injuries.
Yeah, but all these things all add to it. It adds to his profile. It adds to his value. It builds his confidence. You know, it gives him. You know, all these things. I think is a good thing. I
is
love
his dad something to tweet about?
Yeah, exactly. And then they get kicked to the arse for saying things and getting take it down. B Lion, good to see you, mate. I hope you're well. I was really impressed with how mobile he is for a big striker. And I think that you're actually spot on. I think we said in the summer, didn't we? We needed a striker who was mobile, who was big and strong, that can sort of do it all, really. And I think Josh Coburn's that sort of player as well. So to have 2 of them like that, it's quite fortunate, really. The trick is, what happens when they're all available and all fit? Because I'm pretty sure that Harris is going to stick with the system that he's playing with, one up front and maybe Honeyman in behind. And we are going to touch on Honeyman in a second. But before we do that, I'm going to go to the next point. So Bailey says he won his first 3 headers and looked strong, was mobile, worked hard, exact profile we needed. Let's see how he develops. Absolutely spot on there, mate. GC says, evening, lads. Hope you are, mate. Jeff says, I think Ivanovic will wind up the defender this year. You can see he wants to be a handful. And I completely agree. I think he was a handful. I think as soon as the defenders saw him come on, suddenly the dynamics changed. It was very different to what they were dealing with Langstaff beforehand. And I think for any defender, when you've got someone who's big and strong that can run and can mix it, it's not going to be fun for them, is it? So let's hope he gets fit. Let's hope he stays injury free, and we'll see a lot more of him in the coming weeks. Guys, next point, George Honeyman. And I want to speak to you first, Angela, on this one. Question, is George Honeyman a number 10? A lot of people keep asking he is or he isn't, but we're presuming he is at the moment, and he's doing a good job for us. So he's getting some plaudits from not just from Neil Harris, but from the fans as well. What is it about George Honeyman that makes him the perfect number 10? Not necessarily for everyone, but for our team, do you think?
Right. I don't like to say this, right, but I'm going to say it. I said it to my son earlier, right? Them 3 sitters that he's missed this season, there's a certain guy who just left us, puts them away.
100%. Completely agree.
He puts them away. But what George Honeyman does for the team, the guy that's just gone to the road, there's no way he would have done that for us. So it's a give and take. George Honeyman, I love the geezer, His work ethic is second to none. His pressing is ridiculous, He causes, he creates chances for other people with his hard work, And this is what sometimes we don't see. If we'd have scored them chances, it would have been a perfect number 10 performance, So I think if he wasn't there, Joe, we'd miss him. But I just believe that a number 10 needs to score goals, mate. Needs to either assist or score goals. So it's one of them, mate. It's one of them. I love the guy. But he's just got to get on the score sheet a bit more, mate. And they're easy chances as well.
I know. No, you're absolutely right. And I think you can see in his face how gutted he is when he doesn't take these chances. He's really gutted. And I'm sure his luck will change soon. As long as he keeps getting himself in those positions, I think, his luck will change. Steve, what's your thoughts on Honeyman's performance? And why do you think he makes the perfect 10 for Millwall in this particular team under Neil Harris?
Well, that's the key, isn't it? He's not a perfect number 10, but he's perfect for us right now. Yeah. In that his work rate is phenomenal. I think he's sometimes a little bit headless chicken, and if you watch him, he dives in a bit and etc. etc. But I urge anybody who thinks he shouldn't be playing there, watch back the game from Saturday, which I did last night. The amount of balls he wins back and hustles defender is fucking phenomenal, and it really is. You imagine a manager, you manage a team, I want somebody working their socks off like that, and from it, creating chances for us. So he's absolutely worth his place in the team and doing a vital role. Look, the 3 chances missed have been really disappointing and poor, I've got to say, and I think I put it in the chat, didn't I, Saturday? Quite frankly, Saturday was a fucking disgrace. That was terrible. I'd expect Cooper to score that, let alone him. So what the fuck he was doing, I do not know. No, but it was when it was like, that's really massive. And you think, and nobody will be more frustrated than him. You get that, but you think, fuck, what are you doing? So that's a worry, but he is worth his place. And look, that chance, I was watching Twitter the other day, and there was a guy scoring his debut goal at the Den, a fella called someone Zampa, and I thought what we could have done with having him, what we could have had with having him on the end of that.
I'll tell you what, that'd be bread and butter for you, those chances. Anywhere, not in the 6-yard, but anything in the 2-yard box. Where I could just fall over and stick a leg out. That's me all over. That's
brilliant.
But no, I appreciate it. Good comments.
What's your thoughts, Joe? Joe, what's your thoughts on Honeyman?
Personally, you know what? I think what he doesn't give us, particularly on the ball, sometimes I think he makes up for it off the ball. You just got to look at the performance of the 2 wingers. Yeah. SA is having a fantastic start to the season. Scored 2 goals, gets an assist as well. Duncan Watmore on the other side, scored 5 goals this season. You look at the way we're playing as a team at the moment. Our midfield seems stronger because suddenly we're now playing with a 3-man midfield as opposed to a 2-man midfield when Fleming plays. So I think he adds a lot of value to the team, perhaps more off the ball, and it probably allows our 2 wide players like Watmore and Esse to join the attack and not worry about the defensive aspects of their game a little bit. So the reason why I think he's a perfect 10 for our team is because he is fundamental in how we set up and how we're playing at the moment. So that'd be my thoughts on that. Let's go to the chat, guys, because I know this is going to build up before too long. So let's see where.
Ask the chat. Are we keeping Honeyman in or out?
Yeah, it'll be interesting your thoughts on that one. So where are we? So Bailey, yes, it's only got 2 yards out, folks. We'll have a guy, but works hard. He needs extra scoring, exactly. Cole says, no, he is not a number 10. SA would have scored playing number 10 role. I think I agree with there, Carl. I think that would have been.
But Carl, you're right. And look, I've been in that camp thinking they should swap the 2 of them, or put another winger on. But SA made the chance, by being wide and interacting. Yeah. Your point of what Honeyman does allows SA to get a bit more freedom and what more
to create these chances.
The balance,
Do you know what? Do you know what as well, Joe and Steve? I feel sorry for SA because he should have quite a few assists to his name.
Yeah.
But he's not getting the assists because Honeyman can't score the goals.
Yeah. But again,
he's put a few across.
But to your point there, I'm pretty sure I saw SA console Honeyman straight after.
He did as well, yeah.
He did that as well, which is so good. You've got 2 19-year-old kids basically playing in our team that have got such great attitudes and such great team players that I tell you what, I wish they'd do so well for us. I'm sure they do. But if they do better and go on to play in the Premier League one day, then good luck to them, and also get a bag for the money. GC says Honeyman would be better as a sitting midfielder, breaking up play, etc. I agree, but I don't think you can take Saville or Denor out of this team at the moment. I think they've earned their place. So whilst Honeyman does a job for us and plays well, I I think, we leave him where he is. But to your point, GC, I agree. I think he could do an excellent job there. And I think he would like to play there, given the choice. Bay says, I think Harris thinks Honeyman, Saville, and Denor are all in our best 11 players. So he's getting them in the team. But really, they're all centre midfielders. Completely agree with that. Jeff says, John Travolta and I were discussing our really poor delivery of corners. We all seem to just float the ball in, which gives defenders and the goalie a chance to reset and clear the ball. Whip it in. Jeff, I completely agree with you. We're actually going to touch on that in a moment, funny enough. So we'll touch on that in a bit. B Line says, Honeyman's closing down and his tackling is why he plays number 10. With all the teams playing the ball out from the keeper along the back four, Harris wants him to close down and hassle them into mistakes. And it's so true. And they do look unsettled. And a few times you see that they clear the ball out of desperation and it often goes to one of our players. And again, we start the attack and we have that transition of play. Big E says maybe Honey Monster needs a haircut for the same barbers as Watmore. Exactly. Or even your barber, Big E, you might make him a little bit more aerodynamic, a bit lighter,
Or take his bloody sandals off.
Exactly. Jesus. Jesper says Honey in, so he's definitely Honeyman in. Betty says issues is if Watmore stops scoring, we will need goals from elsewhere. Honeyman won't help with that, and we'll need a different profile there for when that happens. Again, excellent point, Bailey. I think we're relying quite heavily at the moment on the two wide players contributing and chipping in the goals at the moment. So can Honeyman add to that and put some goals in? Let's hope so. Wall Lion says, I'm Honeyman in. Carl says, surely that is why Flame was sold. SA is the perfect replacement. Carl, I love SA to play number 10. But unfortunately, I'm not Neil Harris and I can't make the decision, sadly. Jeff says, SA and Honeyman swap around as the game progresses, allowing SA to take the centre stage. Got to give Harris credit for that tactics. Yeah. Jeff, I love that. I love that. There are times I have seen Honeyman go to the left. He's gone to the right. Watmore's. They've all kind of moved around at times. But for me, and we'll touch on SA a little bit later, but I love seeing him in the 10. I love seeing him involved, getting on the ball, making things happen. But we can't deny that Honeyman does a great job for us there, allows us to play. So next point, guys, is I want to talk about set pieces. So we talked about set pieces. We talked about the free kicks. Do you know when's the last time we scored directly from a free kick? Either of you two?
Free kick
has to be Fleming, doesn't it? It's got to be Fleming, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know when it was?
Was it he had a deflected one, didn't he? Who was that against? Was it Norwich?
Was it?
I said what it was. It was in. I have to look down because I wrote it down here before I forget. It was March. Yes, it was March this year. So the end of last season. It was the 1-0 win at the Den against Watford. I think you remember that. It was a long-range free kick. Yeah. It was a bit of a weird one. It kind of bounced a couple of times before it went in, if you remember. And the goalkeeper kind of made a bit of a balls up of it, and it went into his bottom left-hand corner at the right, looking at the goal. And Fleming, took so many free kicks, didn't he? How many free kicks used to end up in the top tier at the Coldblow Lane end? So we never really had a striker or a player that can convert these direct free kicks. But it just seems that now we ain't got Fleming there. We're relying on the likes of Saville and Joe Bryan, but we're struggling at the moment. We're struggling from set pieces, from corners, from free kicks, direct free kicks. So, we'll go to yourself first, Andrew, then Steve, sorry, on this one. What's your thoughts on the free kick situation? And how do you feel we can sort of improve or get better on this?
Well, the thing is, Joe, right? That used to be on number one strong point. And that's one thing where, sadly, we've gone backwards this season. Yeah? Like Saville's had a couple of free kicks over the bar. The one he took against QPR, I said to my son, this going over the bar, boom, over the bar. Brian used to be elite at taking free kicks. Now he can't do it anymore. He's had a couple absolute shit as well. The corners have been pretty pants as well, mate. The amount of corners that go to far to the back post, they need to really, really work on that training ground as much as they can with corners. You look at what Arsenal are doing with set pieces, mate. It's phenomenal what they're doing.
So good.
Yeah, they're obviously spending a lot of time on their set pieces. And, with the big Serb, with Cooper, Tanganga, Hutchinson when he plays, we've got the big guys in there. We need to come up with a better system. And Cooper has to stop fucking putting his hands on people's backs as well, mate, because straight away, referees just fucking blow that whistle, and it's fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, it's highly frustrating. And Steve, what's your thoughts on our free kick situation at the moment, and where do you think we're kind of going wrong?
It's like you say, it's a long time since we've had a good quality free kick taker, isn't it? You know, Fleming had results. He wasn't great, but he got results, a bit of luck along the way. But we don't seem to have any. But there must be someone in the team. And look, this.
Well,
it's interesting you say that, because there was a poll out today on the Millwall poll. I don't know if you follow it on Twitter, but they asked the question: who do you think should be our free kick taker, direct free kick taker at the moment? And we had there was Esse on there, there was Saville, there was Leonard and Joe Bryan, and I think Esse won it by quite a large chunk. And weirdly, he hasn't taken a direct free kick, not one that I recall anyway. But I just think even the fans feel that this kid could do anything and everything. Yeah. Because he's 19, he's young, maybe he's not quite trusted yet. But I would love to see him on there.
And sorry to interrupt Steve, right? What I think we should do for the time being is we should go for Leonard pole drivers, mate.
Yeah.
Because Leonard has got a shot on him, yeah? You know, if you pole drive these free kicks, you'll get the deflections that Fleming used to get. And a few of them go in the goal, a few of them might bounce to one of our players. But Saville and Bryan and Honeyman, they need to stop taking free kicks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Back to the chat. So Steve Newell, hope you're well, Steve. Esse is the only real attacking midfielder we have. Honeyman is more defensive and definitely worth his place, but his few sitters now, to be fair, I completely agree there, Steve. Steve has got a few comments here, so we'll go through them one by one. Fleming wasted so many, considering that's all he seems to practice before the kickoff. It's so true. You just see him there for a good 10 minutes, and he hitting his balls and hitting his free kicks. So it didn't quite work out for him. Steve also said, I'll let Esse take a few free kicks. Also, guys, in the chat, very, very quickly, who would you pick to take our direct free kicks? Put in there really quickly. We'll try and cover those off before we finish our live. Steve also says, we never take short corners, ever. A good point. We seem very, very set on our hit it to Cooper and see what he could do. But he often has 2 or 3 defenders around him, gets pulled down, and we don't get anywhere, do we? So we should mix it up a little bit. It's a really, really good point there, Steve. Steve also says 100% regarding Coops, never wins a free kick or a penalty. And Steve says, to be fair, Joe Bryan could take a free kick, done enough for Fulham. So true. I mean, technically, I think he's one of our better players, Joe Bryan. He's got a lovely left foot. But at the moment, I think Saville seems to be, top of the pecking order. And, as much as I love Saville, I don't think that's his strength. Certainly not from direct free kick. Maybe from an indirect free kick from a long distance. One you want to pump into the far post, but not when you're going for goal, sadly. Bailey says, we aim for Cooper every time he is marked by at least 3 players. He will start scoring again when we mix it up. And people have to mark Tango, Ivanovic and others more seriously. To that point, guys, I just want to say as well, do you remember when we had Cresswell? A lot of defenders were marking Cooper, and Cresswell was quite often unmarked. I think he scored about 4 goals from headers, didn't he, that season? Yeah. And I think Tanganga had a bit of that luck as well towards the end of last season, where they were so busy marking Cooper. And Tanganga's not particularly big or tall himself, but he's, deceptively very, very good at jumping and getting up really, really high. And I think, we could probably get a bit more out of Tanganga if we could get a bit more lucky or get in those right positions to score from those headers. Matt Richards says, I'll give Esse a go. Carl goes for Esse. Matt says that Leonard's a good shout too. Zien scored from more deflections than anything. You're absolutely spot on. There's been quite a few like
never had a clean one go in, did he?
No, exactly. Also, Angelo, I'll go back to you on this point. You mentioned a point off air. We talked about the points total and the fact that we've only played one of the top 12 teams in this division so far. I just want to hear you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was brought to my attention earlier today that if you look at the league table now, some people say you shouldn't look at the league table now. We've played 6 games. We have only played Watford in the top 12, and we've only got 5 points. Now, is that a positive or a negative? Because the great thing is that normally with Harris, we beat the top teams, We do shit against the lesser teams. And I've got to say, right, in the 6 teams that we've played so far, there's been nobody where I've gone, wow, these guys are good. Not one. Now, some people say Bristol City were good. I thought Bristol City were average. Luton, they were okay. I don't think Luton are finishing the top 6 in my opinion. So I think it was Jesper that said in our group chat, it's an open league this season. If we could put a run together, mate. Honestly, at the moment, I watch all the highlights, all the highlight shows. I watch everything. I've not really seen a team that think, this team is going to blow us away. You know, if we can convert more points from our performances, why not? Why can't we creep into the?
You know what? That's an excellent point you made there, Angela. And to that point as well, I think everyone in the chat will probably agree as well. We seem to do better against those top teams, don't we? I mean, as well as we played against QPR on Saturday, we had 39% of the possession, and we did quite well to a team that had the ball. Okay, they're only passing around the back of their defence, but you're absolutely spot on. We do play better against a so-called top team. So if we're playing this well, not quite getting the rub of the green or getting the points we deserve at the moment, and then we start playing against these so-called tougher teams that we could probably exploit and really kind of hit them on the counter and score some goals against them. To your point there, Andrew, I see that as a positive thing. I think we will have more luck against so-called bigger teams, the better teams. So, if anything, I see it as a good thing rather than a negative thing. What about yourself, Steve? What's your thoughts on that, what Angelo mentioned?
No, listen, I agree that the point Angelo made, that Jesper made earlier, it's a very open league. You can see that. So I wouldn't read too much into, it's the top teams, bottom teams, whatever. Yeah. Whatever's been put in front of us, we've matched at least, should have had better. Look, we have to be careful, because if we're still talking about this 5 games time and we're playing well and we've got another 2 points on the board, that ain't going to be. But I can't see it. I just cannot see. Look, especially without getting carried away, I can't see us losing Saturday to Preston.
Yeah,
It'll be hard. They'll put the part on the bus without a doubt. But I really expect us to win that game. Not necessarily comfortably in terms of the better team. A 3-4-0, but I expect us to beat Preston.
Well, that's it. Well, to your point, I think they're struggling a little bit at the moment, and they perform. They're down there at the moment. They don't particularly offer much in the way of attacking at the moment. So, will that suit us? Will that work against us? Who knows? But I think it'd be a tough game. Guys, we've gone over an hour, unfortunately, but there's over 170 of you in this chat at the moment. So, do we carry on for another 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or do we end it short? So, put it in the chat if you want us to carry on. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying the conversation. If you listeners are enjoying this, we'll carry on for you and fuck it. We'll go past. We're going to injury time and let's see how we get on.
What's your language? Rosalind's on. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, sorry, Roslyn.
I think when you interact with the chat, it just goes on that bit longer, and it's important to interact with the chat.
It's not our fault. We blame the chat.
Yeah.
Chat's fault. They're the one that keep us talking. They want to keeps it going. So if the chat wants it, we'll give it.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? We want to talk about Millwall.
Exactly that. Guys, I've got a point I want to bring up before we talk about one other. But the point I want to mention is the fact that Millwall, at the moment, we've lost 3 games in our opening, 6 games, I think it is. And we've the same amount of games we've lost in the 13 games that Harris was in charge last season, which is quite worrying, really, quite a concern. Steve, we'll go to you first. I mean, what do you feel about that? I mean, are you worried by that? Are you not fazed based on our performance, or are you concerned? What's your thoughts?
Listen, look, not happy about it. You can't be, can you? It's just nobody wants to see us lose. It's a very different ball game, innit? Look, and let's be honest, we probably had the rub of the green a bit at the back end of last year. Yeah. You make your own luck and what have you, but there were games that could have gone either way, and we ended up winning them, let alone drawing. And this season's been different, but without sounding like a broken record, I could sit and watch the last few games all day long versus some of the boring shit we've had
regardless of the result, whether we win, draw,
well,
lose.
Look, we all say that, don't we? Yeah. And yes, but no, I want to see us winning. But if nothing else, an intent to win. We are going out to win games, even away from home. That's a good place to be. And I feel like if we really need to tighten it up, we probably can be a little bit more conservative. And probably should have been on Saturday, maybe, a little bit tighter. But no, I'm not. Look, I think last season was fantastic. It was very unique. It was dogs of war, all that stuff. this is different, and I'm happy where we are.
Yeah.
Other than would like a few more points on the board.
Well, we're still very early in the season, aren't we? I think come Christmas, if we're struggling down the bottom of the table, we might have to revert back to the old playing style, Angelo, like we did last season, and go back to that kind of defensive style. But fair to Harris, he's giving the fans what they want. They want to see attacking football. They want to be entertained. Our XG at the moment is fantastic, one of the highest in the Championship. I mean, we're averaging 2 clear goals XG a game, which is astonishing. However, our XG for conceding has also gone up slightly as well. So what's your thoughts, Angelo, on that?
Yeah, I'm going to turn it into a right massive positive, right?
Okay.
So the first game, right, Watford was an emotional game, all right? Yeah. The goalkeeper suffered in that game, that's why we lost that game, The second game was a kamikaze, unlike Millwall defensive shit show, right?
Yeah.
But now the positive
no Tanganga as well, by the way.
No Tanganga. The positive is we've lost 1 of our last 4 games. So if you take away them 2 shit games at the beginning of the season, we've lost 1 in 4. We're playing great football. We're creating loads of chances. We've got the league's second top scorer. We've only conceded 2 goals in the last 4 games. Fucking positive, mate. It's positive.
I love that. I
turned you around there, Joe.
Hang on.
I'll tell you, I ain't gonna lie. I felt like a bit of a twinge down below, but I'm not sure if it's my. I'm not sure if it's my zip that's got caught on my.
You can add to that. So add to that some key injuries, Angelo, as well.
That's
He's
right.
bloody positive. Good man. Yeah, well done.
And also
get in the changing room on Saturday.
And also, we should have had this point right at the end before we even finished the show. End of the high.
And also, the Bristol City game, there was massive disharmony with Harrison upstairs. That was the peak of the disharmony. So if you erase them 2 games, I think we're moving in the right direction.
Brilliant. There is one more point I want to talk about before we end it, but let's go to the chat very quickly. So Jeff says, I know it might sound mad, but I would be surprised the opposition and not put Cooper in the box when we have a corner for maybe one of them. Can you imagine the surprise on their faces? Or even get him taking them. It's a bit more whip for them, don't he? His crosses. Steve says Cresswell attacked to the box, and you're right. Coops took the dairy off him. Carl says Tanganga is a unit. I love Tango, and he's got such a leap at him as well. I mean, it's incredible. Steve says not one team has mugged us off. More bad luck than shit refs. Yeah, completely agree. Bailey says doesn't bother me who we play because I've been watching the other games and everyone is average this year. Outside of Sunderland, Leeds, and maybe Burnley, everyone is similar. Bailey says Preston will have 2 suspended, 1 red card, and the geezer who bit someone. There was a guy there. I wrote his name down there earlier. Actually, it's a guy who called Osmazic, who I don't know if you saw this. He had a bit of an argy-bargy, one of their defenders, the other week, didn't he? And I think against Blackburn it was.
On Sunday,
the other night, and he bit the player, didn't he? I think something happened. He sort of bit his leg or something like that. Yeah,
but the ref
on the back of his neck. That was it. The back of his neck. And there's another player who bit someone recently as well. I can't remember who that was now. I think it might have been the Fulham Preston game. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, I get sidetracked. But no, he actually bit the player in the back of his neck, and it was caught on camera. So the FA are looking into this at the moment. So he could be on a ban. So that's not a bad thing. So it'd be good for us if he's banned, not playing on Saturday as well. So that's an interesting point there, Bailey. Thanks for that. Hughesy says Preston do have a bite in attack. Love that. Carl says carry on, Mill. Keep going. So we'll keep going on our show. Matt Richard says no comment. Boom, Free Dive says keep it going. Jeff says carry on. Only Steve does his Travolta dance. Come on, Steve.
You missed it, Jeff. I've already done it.
We'll have to get one of those big glitter balls out one night, haven't we? And start playing the Bee Gees. Oh, we can't play Bee Gees, can we, anymore? Unfortunately.
You can't get your balls out on here either.
No, exactly. Maybe one big ball, but we can't get them all out. I think the first few games were down to silly mistakes. Yeah. Kept us hanging there, Matt. Fucking hell. Not phased at all. I can see it coming good. Matt said we turn a corner since Bristol City defence-wise. I think you're absolutely spot on. Dave Turner says definitely positive. Great patterns of play. Steve News, I agree with Angelo. Once we start kicking in, we'll smash a few teams. I can't wait for that to happen.
I reckon we will smash a couple of teams this year.
I think so. Oh, 100%. Yeah, especially when Ivanovic starts playing and getting in it. Yeah, personally, I think there is any disharmony. Not certainly not at the moment. I think there was a little bit at the start.
Yeah.
He is from Montenegro. I don't know. Was that the striker? I think the guy who's been done for Bayern. Yeah. Jeff says, "Brilliant show again, boys. Really enjoyed it. Thanks a lot, Jeff. Really appreciate that." Guys, another point before we kind of wrap up is Roman essay. So I don't know about you guys, but I read something in the news the last day or two that Crystal Palace. And it's going to be great for the chat, guys. I'm sorry to end it on a bit of a low. We'll try and pick it up. Maybe we get Disco Steve to do a strip for us or something, maybe, or and Angelo to share his bolognese recipe for you. But for now, we need to talk about the elephant in the room here, Roman essay. So I don't know whether you guys noticed that Dougie Freeman from Palace watched him against Luton. And he didn't play particularly great, I don't think, in that game, did he, Essay? But he was in there watching him, and apparently has been watching quite a lot of him. And the rumour has it that with their players, Elise, the French guy who they sold in the summer, they're looking for someone to fill in that right side to complement Eze on the other side. And they are looking really hard at Roman Esse at the moment. They see him as somebody who's going to make a big difference for them. Now, the rumor is, and again, it's only rumors, that they're going to come in for Esse with a big bid, but the bid will be that they'll sign him up from us, but they will send them back to us on loan. And the rumor is they might do this in the winter for the January window, and we get to keep him for the rest of the season. So they want him to carry on playing for us. They want him to keep developing under Harris, playing in Millwall, but Palace are really, really keen on it at the moment. Now, Steve, I'll go to you first, and Angelo, and also in the chat, if you're hearing this, I'd love to get your thoughts on this, on the situation. What's your thoughts? I mean, it's Palace. I mean, could it be any fucking worse? A team, first of all, that's going to sign him, and secondly, what's your thoughts on that deal? Are you for it? Are you against it? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, look, first and foremost, be honest, watching the game Saturday on my little phone at first. I think it was a bit through the second half. It looked like Esse, he will be still a little bit raw. He seemed to get knocked off the ball a couple of times and a few 50-50s. I thought, he's getting muscled out a bit. Having watched it back, only 60 minutes so far, he is fucking fantastic. He is absolutely the real deal. Just simple things like the way he passes the ball. I remember watching that guy last year. Who's that bloody winger at Hull last year?
Miller.
Sorry?
Was it Miller?
No, the black guy. Scored against us.
The guy from Crystal Palace, from Aston Villa. What was his name?
Yeah, look.
Maybe in the chat they can answer that if you know it.
Yeah, please come in. He's brilliant player. And the way they pass the ball, they seem to just sort of flick it with their foot, and it's quality. Esse does that, and that tells me, Jesus, this boy's absolutely special. Look, I think we all know, and I think Chris has said it in his show, that, look, he'll be gone in the next year and a half. Probably.
Yeah.
Philogene. That's him. Yeah. Great player. And I'm not saying plays like him. I'm saying the way he passes the ball, they just stroke it. It's fantastic to watch. And he's got that. And he's just getting better and better. He is a quality player. Look, I think the last thing I want to do is see, especially homegrown players, leave our club when we're trying to go on to better things. But if the right money comes, we've got to realise with our new model, develop players, get good money, as long as it's reinvested, and I genuinely believe it will be, we just get stronger and stronger and have the dream that we want of the team in the future. I've got to say, Joe, I like that idea of buying for big money and loaning back, because other teams do. That's a good option. But for me, at this stage, you can't put a price on it, I don't think. But sitting here now, it would have to be 20 plus. And that's, look, absolutely, at least. And people say, fucking 30 million.
No. He's 19 years of age, Steve, and he's on a long-term contract. Just signed a contract they say long term. What's that? 3 years, 4 years, another option or something maybe.
My mate on here, Jeff, cried. We'll say now he cried his eyes out when Chris Armstrong was just coming good for us.
Yeah,
we sold
I
it to
remember.
Palace for $500,000 or maybe $1 million.
Yeah,
peanuts at the time.
It was ridiculous.
We cannot go down that route. We cannot give away our prize possessions, and I just don't see that we will do. With the Fleming deal, proves that a bit. So look, 20 plus 30. I don't want him to go, but let's be real.
If we get that kind of money, and there's no reason why we can't get that money, Angelo. I think in the day, he is. I personally think he's Premiership, quality.
Real deal. He is the real deal.
Him, Tanganga, I think they're both capable of playing the Premier League at the moment. And he's only 19 years of age. If there was an opportunity for us to keep him on loan, as Steve says, 6 months, maybe 18 months, if they're happy to wait that long,
even better,
and continue his development, I'd be all for it. But to Steve's point, Angelo, I don't know whether you agree or not. I think the money has to be right.
Yeah. So this is my opinion on it. This winter, I'll tell Palace to go do one, mate. Yeah, because we've got a new model now that we're going to develop the young players and send them on for big money. He's just signed a long-term contract. He loves Millwall, right? We need to keep hold of Romain SA until the end of next season. And if we haven't got to the Premiership by the end of next season, then we cash in. But to give them away this January is absolute ridiculous, mate. I would turn down every single bid, mate.
He was named. Yeah, he was named in the Championship Team of the Week this week, weren't he, as well? Which just shows you, he's getting the accolades. He's getting the attention from Premiership clubs. So even last season, if you believe rumours are true, Liverpool are looking at him. One or two others, and Mill just sort of like turned them away. The
thing is, though, Joe, Crystal Palace have just sent Raksui, who plays in that position, sent him to Sheffield United for the season. Because we was even looking. He's very similar to Essa, very similar.
Which is probably why, if you believe the rumours are true, allegedly that they are looking to get him in, but not to play him just yet. Get him signed. He's only.
He might as well stay with us, isn't it? He might as well stay with us.
Well, yeah, but I guess if we get to keep him for 6 months, I love it. We keep him for 18 months. That'd be amazing.
18 months. That's what I would do, mate. 18 months. On loan. If we're not in the playoffs, not in the Premiership, cash in. Yeah,
exactly.
Let's keep him for this season and next season, and then we'll have to go.
I actually think Friedman was at the game to watch Honeyman because they need a goal scorer.
He must have fucking shit in his eyes when he was there. But, I think you look at examples of Carvalho. Is it Carvalho who has played for Fulham? Liverpool signed him. Look at him now. I mean, he can't get into that team. I think he actually went out loan to. Was it Hull? Was that last season?
He did, but he's gone somewhere else.
Brentford
he's now gone somewhere else. I actually signed him, have they? I've
signed him. Brentford have signed him.
Like 15, 20 million. There you go. I mean, okay, he got his move, you could argue, to the Premier League, but he would have got there anyway with Fulham. They're in the Premier League anyway, aren't they? So it doesn't always make the right move for that player. And it's all like Roman Esse, for him to go, it has to be right for him, it has to be right for us. I don't think it should be rushed. So,
I genuinely think it will benefit his career if he stays with us for another year.
100%. I mean, he's representing England at the moment under 19 level. He's getting better and better every game. He's improving. Why derail what's working for him so well at the moment? Him going to a Premier League club, not getting a look in, or
he won't get into the team, mate,
or going on loan to other teams and probably not playing as much. If I was Roman Esse, if you're watching this now, mate, trust me, do yourself a favour, keep doing what you're doing, keep playing for us, keep playing well. You're only 19 years of age. Your time will come. You're an excellent player. You've got loads of potential. Don't rush it. But obviously, it's easy me saying that when the big bucks come. And these teams can offer 10 times what you're earning at the moment. Who might say don't go? So
do you know what, Joe? I think Millwall put him on big bucks now, mate, on this new contract. So he's only 19.
You say big bucks, but what's he on? $5,000, $6,000, maybe?
No,
I don't think he's on. Is he on?
You
think so?
More than that. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to say. You see where it goes. All
I'm saying, 19-year-old, that's proper.
All I'm saying is, if he goes to a Premier League club, he'll get 40, 50,000 probably, I reckon.
It's the modern game though. 19
years of age. I know, but bad potential though, Steve.
And Ivanovic, 19.
Brilliant. I know. The future's bright.
Yes.
We're going to end it on a high. The future's bright. There you go. There's the high. There's your injection of a bit of Millwall love. We've got lots to be proud of. We've got a good player with Ivanovic we signed, who looks decent, 19 years of age. Tanganga, again, he's worth a few quid. We do sell him on in the next year or two. SA as well. Lots to be happy about. Play some great football. Before we end it off, guys, very quickly, Preston, again, in the chat, guys, what's your prediction for the Preston game? What's your score prediction? And we'll go to you, Steve, and then we end off with Andrew. What's your prediction for Saturday's game at home to Preston? And also, what's your thoughts, guys, on these early kickoffs at the moment? Yeah. Obviously, I know it's a Sky deal, and unfortunately, we're going to get some late kickoffs, early kickoffs. But are you a fan of the 12:30 kickoff? Chuck it in the chat while Steve talks.
Yeah, no, awful, isn't it? 12:30s, and great from the fans Saturday with the Sky shit and the fire.
We got our fire stick.
Fantastic,
excellent.
So great banter from the fans as always. Yeah. Listen, I'm really, without getting carried away, I'm very, very confident we'll win Saturday. I don't think it'll be easy, but I think we'll win 2-0, and I'm going to go for Langstaff to open his account, and the man we're saying there as well, SA as well, to get his first home goal, I think. So it's going to be a real double celebration in down the Den on Saturday.
Brilliant, excellent. And Andrew, before we go over to yourself, my son's away on holiday with his girlfriend this week. So God, I don't know how I can say this, but my wife wants to come with me to watch the game. I feel a bit sick just saying it, actually. I feel like a bit of a head rush. She wants to come with me to watch the game, and it'll be funny. But if you're put on that spot and your missus says to you, "Oh, I'll come along and watch the game with you." Now she's a Millwall fan. When we were kids, she was a Millwall fan. She used to go back in the late 80s, early 90s when I used to go, and she loved Brian Horn. Fuck me, she was shocked when I showed what Brian Horn's like now. But anyway, that's no story. But she wants to come along.
Here's what you could have won.
I know. I'm saying to her, yeah, of course you can. I'm thinking, fuck, this is my Saturday. Like, what's she doing here? In the chat, am I right or wrong to let Mrs. Zampa come to the game?
How do they do it? The old heart? Is it the heart?
Put it in the chat. Am I a mug or what? Am I doing the right thing? Angelo, Preston at home. What's your thoughts on that?
Right, I watched. Let Mrs. Emma come, mate. Let her come.
Yeah, you think okay?
I watched the Preston game against Blackburn on Sunday, the one where the geezer bit him on the back of the neck.
Yeah,
there was one guy in the middle of the midfield for Preston who I was so impressed with. I'd never heard of this guy before. His name, I looked him up. His name is Ali McCann. Okay, he's a blonde guy. He run the show, mate, in midfield. We need to stop this guy. I looked him up. He played loads of games for St Johnstone. He's not a goal scoring midfielder, but honestly, he was a Millwall type midfielder, mate.
Yeah,
very impressive. Yeah, very impressive.
We'll have to look out for him then.
Alan McCann, his name was.
One to watch.
Yeah,
I think. Sorry to interrupt you, Andrew. I think George from that chat with chaps is doing a behind enemy line sort of thing, what you want to call it. With Preston podcast guy. I think that goes on Thursdays doing the recording, so it might be shown on Friday. So guys, if you're still listening to this at the moment, look out for that one. That'd be quite an interesting one. And what we could do is maybe Andrew's mentioned that to George, ask a question on him, see what his thoughts are.
Yeah, unless he just had a great game, but I was so impressed with the season, mate. Really impressed. I think I'm going to finish on a positive. I think we're going to thump them, mate. I think we're going to win 4-1.
Okay, I hope so. I really do hope so. Right, let's go to the chat.
What about you, Joe? What are you going for?
I'm going to go for a win, but I hope my wife doesn't fucking jinx it for me now. But I'm going for a 2-0 win. But if we lose, she ain't coming ever again. So,
what if we win, though, mate? What are you going to do if we win?
Well, fuck me. If we win 4-0, I might have to tell my son he can't go anymore. and reluctantly, I have to bring the missus instead.
Date night every Saturday afternoon.
Oh, don't. Oh, my God. Guys, like the chat, please, guys. If you're watching this still and you're on YouTube, just give it a little bit of a thumbs up, a bit of a like or a comment. Everything you do just helps the algorithms and just helps bring more sort of likes and subscriptions to the show. And hopefully we can make a bit more money for Cancer Research UK, because obviously everything we get from YouTube goes to Cancer Research UK. Jeff, Brent show again, lads. Really enjoyed it. Thank you, Jeff. Mark Murphy says, don't forget to like, guys. Thank you, Mark. Great point. Dougie Freeman was at a home game, SA the Northanger for the next transfer. I think you're right, sadly. Matt Bridge said, if the price is right, let him go. Let him go. No, I ain't gonna do that. Suddenly our viewers will go down to about 50 hearing me sing. Tony Thomas says it has to be a minimum of 15 million. I agree. I'd love to get 20 million for SA. I really would. But I'm sure there'll be add-ons and all that sort of stuff, won't it? It won't be just like 20 million, there you go. Philogene, that's it. That's the guy we're looking for. Steve says, could be the Hammers, could be worse. As long as we pull the Nigel pants down, I don't care. He's better than them divs, that's for sure. Bailey says, we've had Spurs, Fulham, Palace scouts watching him since a year ago, including the odd under 23 games. Sign him a long-term deal. So we'll get good value. He's a great kid, great value, and it's fine. Yeah, I completely agree. Jesper says SA is a £50 million plus player and shouldn't go for less. Hope he plays for us all season. If he's sold, even if he's sold in January, I couldn't agree more, Jesper. Carvalho, that's it. That's the guy I was looking for. Be Live, thanks, mate. David Turner says, true, Bailey. Matt says, we've got to be less sentimental. I know. I think he's referring to your mate and Chris Armstrong going there, Angelo. Or was it Steve? Sorry. Born Free, dying free, said 20 million minimum. Bailey says, just so relieving he signed the new deal, got to have a good agent and parents. Lots would have him angling for a move on a free to get him more money. He hasn't screwed us with that. Absolutely spot on. Not like that other kid did. What's his name? Zach something over there. He went out to Rangers. Do you remember that guy? Zach something. Lovelace. Yeah. Dave says, cried when Cahill left Peanuts. Mate, I was with you. I went for a whole bag of fucking tissues on that one. Matt says, I think you're right. 15, 20 million. Take it. Reinvest. We could buy 7, 8 top prospects. Absolutely spot on. Carl says, yes, but Palace and West Ham are the worst clubs. Jeff says, I've never forgotten for Peters literally gave Tim Cahill well. Can never let that happen again. You're absolutely spot on. I think we're for 2.5 million, which is absolute peanuts compared to what he did in the Premier League and become such a big icon at a legend at Everton, didn't he, after that? Tanganga will be our record sell. I don't know whether that would be a case or not because, I like to think he will be, but as a defender, they never really go for as much as attackers do they? And I think there could be some kind of like agreement in place there that, he'll sign for us on a free transfer. If we let him go, for a realistic price, maybe, who knows? Tony says that SA Tanganga will go to the Premier League. Casper will get a bid from somewhere there too. I think you'll agree. Again, we forgot about Casper then, because I personally think the way he's playing at the moment, he's been superb. He carries on throughout the season. Again, there'll be Premiership clubs sniffing around him, I'm sure.
Alex, what he said in his interview, he said that he's got the license to go a bit more forward this season.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, he said
right.
That
makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
He definitely cover a bit more ground and getting more. And I love the fact that every pass that Casper makes is a forward pass.
Yeah.
He's always looking forward, trying to play through the lines, isn't he? He's a big part, I think, Casper, and how we're playing so well at the moment. I'm not saying it's all down to Casper, but I think he's a big integral part of that. Alex says, hope you're well, mate. You all seem to join us right at the end, don't you, Alex? Right at injury time. Hope you're well, mate. Agree, David, Tango will be a record sell. Steve says, good show, boys. Have a good one. Matt says, top show, lads. Good night. David says, 3-0. I hope that's 3-0 Millwall. Bailey says 5-0 Honeyman. 5 goals. 12-minute kickoffs are shit. 1-0 to the Wall. Hughes says, love the positivity, guys. Good show again. Thanks you, Hughesy. Bless you, mate. Alex says, we'll be fine offers for Watmore if he keeps scoring. Comfortable 3-0 Langstaff brace and Watmore. Mark says no to 12.30s. I'm buying a 5 stick too. Matt Richards says 2-0 to Millwall. David says, hate a kickoff that isn't free on a Saturday or free 10 back in the day. Was it 10 past 3? Back in the day. Jeff Cook says 2-0 to Lions. Anything but 3 p.m. kickoff is shite. Piss off, Sky. Steve says 100% swerve it, mate. Carl says Millwall 2, Preston 0 with two players sent off. I hope that's two Preston players sent off. Alex says, take her along, Joe. You might score at the 10th for a second time. Fucking hell. That'll be a record this year, I tell you. Love that. Born 3 dice said, let him come down to Dendel. 10, come on, Joe. McCann is top draw. There you go, Angelo. David Turner agrees with you on that one. Carl says, hate the early kickoffs and the green shirt.
I'm warm into that. Warm into the green.
I think both the ways it's all right, actually.
Yeah. Is it me or is Matt's score keeps changed by 1? It's like 1-0, it's 2-0. He's now saying 4-0 and renew your wedding vows. Don't give her any fucking ideas, Matt. What are you trying to do? It's bad enough a go, let alone me fucking renewing our vows. Jeff Cook's a great show yet again, lads. Bless you, Jeff. Thank you, mate. They said great show. Good night, gang. Alex said I'll switch notifications on now. That's it. That's the way to do it. Guys, I think we're there. We're only half an hour overtime. Chris Chapman's going to absolutely kill me.
Yeah.
He says, for the algorithms, you get more views. We're going to get, we get it under an hour. More people are like to watch it back. It's going to help the channel. We'll get more money for Cancer Research UK. But guys, what the hell? It's done now. An hour and a half. It didn't feel like an hour and a half, did it, to be fair? It did go quite quickly. And I do blame the chat because they're brilliant, our listeners. I love their interaction. I love what they've got to say. I love you two as well, guys. Again, thank you so much for your contribution, Angelo, and for Disco Steve as well. I really appreciate you being with us, sharing your words of wisdom and everything you know about Millwall. It really helps. Guys, thank you in the chat. Good to see you. Remember, every Tuesday at 8 p.m, come rain or shine, we're going to be here. Unless Angelo is busy sort of making a spaghetti bolognese for his nunna, or Disco Steve, or Disco Steve in a sunbed somewhere. I don't know, but we're going to be here. We're going to be here, and we're here for you guys. So thank you so much. Again, if you haven't done it, subscribe to this channel. Click the like button. Let's try and get some algorithms going on the show. We'll be there on Saturday. You going to be there Saturday, Angelo?
Yeah.
We're going to be there Saturday. I'll try and be at the Blue Bus, although I'm going to have Mrs. Zampa with me as well. So,
you must all go and say hello.
Oh, don't wind me up, please. But I'll look forward to see the fans. I love the interaction with the fans, by the way. I've had a few come up to me recent weeks, just come over and say hello. Don't be shy. Come and say hello. Love to meet you all. And enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great week. Give it everything this week. Work hard, guys at work. Give it all your all. We'll live for the weekends. Saturday will be round before you know it, and we can watch our beloved Millwall. So all the best, guys. Love you lots. See you next Tuesday. Take care. All the best.
Night all.
See you later.